Hey guys, blunt truth. Welcome back. Part 2, sharpening. Glad you stayed with me. I've tried all different kinds of sharpening methods, and some work for some people. Most didn't work for me. Alright, this worked for me. This is what I use. The Gacko sharpening kit. You've probably seen them. This is the deluxe one. That's what you want to get. The deluxe one with the fine stone. The fine diamond hone. Not natural stones, diamonds. That's what you want. You want all three hones. The fine, the medium, and the coarse. These are important for reprofiling and fixing chipped edges. And you need the fine to finish up. I don't even use this one. This is for serrations. I've never used it because I don't use serrations and they hardly ever need sharpening anyway, so I don't use that. Comes with a little oil thing. Hardly ever use this. I've had this thing like 8 to 10 years, this whole kit. You don't even really need this oil because diamond stones, the diamonds are on the top. So I just use a toothbrush because the diamonds raise above the metal surface. The little metal flakes that come off can just be brushed off with a toothbrush very easily. You don't even really need the oil. You can just even run them under a sink to clean them off. I do use the oil once in a while though, if it, but not much. You don't really need it. Just the brush works. Now, a lot of people think that Gacko is a rip-off of the Lansky sharpening system with the clamp. I had the Lansky first because it looked to me that way, like the Lansky was the real deal. This is better, much better for many reasons. One is you have a whole bunch more angles to choose from, a lot more. That Lansky gives you 2. This gives you 5 on each side. The clamp works better actually because you get these extra long screws that you can play around with in both screw holes to fit different blades. The hones, let me set this down so the hones work better because they're wider. You get a better grip on them. It's a wider hone. Do your edges quicker, works better, covers the surface of the edge better. You don't have a little metal on the Lansky. There's a metal rod that comes up and bends like an L shape, and you got to screw in a wing nut screw to clamp them in and set them down and make sure it's straight and bend it if it's not. These are always straight. They pull right out of the handle. Every rod, every hone has its own rod. Pulls right out. It's always there. You can pull it right out, It's always straight. It's thick, strong, stays rigid and lined up perfect. Get a nice grip. This thing works great. So this is what I've decided works great for me, and I've been using it for all my knives for many years, and I put a perfect edge on it. Not with just this though. After you use this, you have to strop. I'll go into stropping. This does, however, have some faults. You have to work around a couple things that don't work the way the instructions tell you. Because it really, if you follow the instructions, it just doesn't work that way. So let's do it. Let me show you, okay? You unscrew both of these a little bit. And the ideal thing is to put it so that you're pretty much centered in the edge. You don't have to line it up this way. It really doesn't matter. The idea is, the important thing is that every time you clamp this on, it's got to always be in the same spot. And I'll address how to do that and how to get it in the same spot in a second. Now you screw this down first till it's tight, and then you screw this down. It doesn't have to be real tight, a little tight. This one does have to be real tight. You want it really tight. And as you tighten it a little bit, look and see if you have a flat contact with the blade. Is it flat to the blade? You don't want it to be pinching up toward the edge further or pinching at the spine of the blade. You want it to be flat on the surface of the blade, which I do have good contact. Now you tighten it right down good. Turn it right in. And this little plastic, I reef right down on it, never stripped it out. Works great. The plastic, the threading on all the screwing attachments is not plastic. It's all metal. So you're not going to strip out plastic threading. It's just a cover on this screw. So now it's tight. Won't move. And if you want to protect your edge from the clamp, the metal clamp, you can take a little tissue, put it in there, a little piece of a t-shirt, whatever, put it in there. You know, I don't bother, even on this dress knife. So now, every time you clamp this on, every time you put it on, you want to have it in the exact spot so that when you sharpen, you always do the same angle in the same place, because if it just moves out a 1/4 inch or an 1/8 inch even, you just created a different angle, even if you use the same hole. So the way that I get the clamp in the exact same spot on every knife, even though I'd have so many knives I couldn't possibly remember, I take a picture. I use the little built-in camera on my laptop and just hold it up there, click the button, take a picture, just the way it is. And then as the name of the picture, I'll make notes, as you know, as naming the picture will be notes of what angle I used and whatever other notes I find are important to sharpening the knife. You know, whatever different screws I might have used or whatever. You can throw your notes in there with the name of the file for the picture. Now after you clamp it in, you want to lay this flat, hold both ends flat, and look straight down at the edge. Put your eye right over it, and it should go straight down through this gap that's created, so that everything is straight and perfectly lined up. Your edge is centered. Perfect. Not the blade, but the edge is actually centered perfectly down through this gap. And you're ready to go, if all is well. If not, you have to make adjustments. Now, what I do when I haven't sharpened an edge before, I have sharpened this before, but I'm just going to do this to show you. Take a Sharpie. You want to make sure that you're taking off only the minimal amount of metal, right? So just run your Sharpie way up the edge. You don't have to cover the whole edge, just the very tip edge. You want to make sure you're hitting the edge. Doesn't really matter though. You can use a big marker and cover the whole damn blade if you want. It washes right off. So now I've got the whole edge blackened. So the idea is, I'll know if I'm hitting that edge easily just by the blackness going away. Now depending on whether you sharpened it before or not, you might want to use the medium stone or the fine stone. If you're reprofiling, meaning changing the angle, which takes off, you need to take off a lot of metal, you're going to have to use the coarse stone and work your way down to the fine stone to finish up sharpening. So basically the same method whether you're reprofiling or not. You pick your angle. I like to keep them around 15 to 17 degrees. Most knives come around 20. So I like 15, 17. It has 15, 19, and 11 all marked out. But you can't go by these because the angle is actually, these angles are actually based on the end of this clamp. So that your blade comes out making a steeper angle. The longer, the bigger your blade, the steeper the angle. So it really isn't exactly what these say. So that's why the marker on the blade will help you as a guide to get the angle, get the edge, hit the edge right where you need to hit it. So I'm running out of time on part 2. I knew this was going to run into part 3, part 4, who the hell knows how many, but we're going to do this thing, and I'm going to sharpen this for you right in front of you, and we'll get a razor edge and try her out. Watch part 3 and we'll keep her going. Thank you.